Welcome back, everybody. This is M-Dog. Happy server reset day. We are coming up on, 20 hours since server reset occurred. And this was a big full reset, so baits changed, fish have migrated. If spots that were working before the reset are still working, chances are they are working in a different manner. Example, this would be like at Bear, the 53 spot, whatever it is, where last week I was using Banana. Tried that again after the reset, and yeah, you can still catch carp there, just not quite as good of a spot. Bite rate's a little slower, and also different species are coming out now. All of a sudden, a lot of mirrors are coming out where, I'd sit there for hours before the reset and not catch a single mirror. So it's interesting how things do change after resets. We are at 64.94 at Amber, and I was going to make a video about this spot just to really focus on a spot where you potentially, if you haven't caught your common Barbel trophy since qualifications came out, which I haven't. I've really just kind of been avoiding them, not really worried about it. I know, if you fish at Amber enough, you know that a trophy Barbel will eventually just pop out on you when you're fishing with fish stuff. But this spot has been really, considering this is, again, there's a lot of spots that are really slow right now as we figure out the new spots and new bait preferences. And I have this theory that could be completely wrong, but it always feels to me like it takes a couple days for things to start picking back up again. And again, I could be totally wrong, but that's what I've noticed in the years of playing this game, is that sometimes after the hard resets, it doesn't matter where you go, it's just going to be a little slower than you want it to be. And so, but it can be a fun time too. Obviously, it's a time of discovery. No one really knows like the best lure to troll with it at Volkov. You can start looking at weeklies of the day and think, well, maybe that's it, but you know that there's way too small a sample size. And so it really is. I mean, at a place like Amber, there's so many spots here that you could test out, different bait combinations. And after a reset, there's very little to go on. So it's a great time to explore things, to put some theories to test that maybe you've been working on. But we've got a nice fish on here. So I figured, hey, if I'm going to do a quick video on this Barbel spot anyway, let's just do it catching a big carp. I'm going to assume that this is going to be a decent leather carp. Could it be something else? Yes, but in terms of carp, the only thing I've been catching in this spot really has been leather. And the way this fish took off, it just feels like a nice leather. Is it a trophy? I mean, I don't know if it's a trophy leather, but leathers get really big before they're trophies, so it could just be, one of those almost trophy type fish. But I have a feeling it could be a trophy though. It's been a really nice fighting fish. Had it on for a little while before I hit record. I was trying to figure out when to record anyway, just to show you a couple of catching a couple of Barbel, and which we may not get to do now because we're in the middle of the night, and unless it's morning by the time I get this fish on, which I guess is possible. But I will at least show you the setups I'm using and the baits. I'll show you the PVA, although I'll tell you that in terms of PVA, I've really used a lot of different squid PVAs since it's reset day, and I don't know exactly which PVA combinations are working the best. It's a good opportunity to just use up some PVAs, right? Whoa! Why is there a second line pulling? So before we got this big fish on, what I would have said about this spot, and I still think this is true, this is not a great farming spot right now. This is at least with the baits, the approach I'm using, this is a 100 to 150 silver an hour. Half your fish probably will be Barbel, and then the other half will be a combination of like gibbles, bream, leather carp. And so it just doesn't quite add up to what per hour fishing at Amber typically is. But if there's a potential of this kind of fish coming out, then that does change things a little bit. You may be asking why I'm turning around backwards here. You do not have to do this. I'm not even sure how much this really works. The idea is it's just a way to put some pressure on the fish. It seems to slow it down from running. And so it's basically just a way to keep tension up without allowing it to wear out my mech. It's something I do more of if I know I'm in a long fight with a trophy wild carp or a really nice sturgeon or something. Sometimes I'll do this just to, but this leather, I think it's a leather, it just took off in such a way I felt like I had to do something to try to slow it down. Not because we're going to get spooled. I'm using braided line. We've got line for days, but I just, wanted to slow it down, really. Adjusting friction brake a lot. Again, trying to keep a lot of tension without having the tension bar too high when it starts to run. And I think we're finally getting to a point now where it really is not pulling as much. But it did run. I mean, if you look at where I am, it ran straight across the lake, and it made it to the other shore. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're going to be pulling it back across Amber Lake here. And now in this spot, would I have had enough spool if I was using mono line? Probably, because these are Megaras, so they're really big spools. But it might have been a little close. I mean, it might have gotten a little hairy. I don't know. It's unusual with this strength of gear to have a fish run for this far, this long. I really don't want to take too many chances here of losing it. It's also hard because I get a little impatient when I'm recording a video or if I'm just fishing, because I know this fish is going to take a little bit of time to get pulled in. But for the most part, it's just really not pulling too much anymore. So we're going to kind of shuffle it back and forth. If you go a little bit lower, you see that bend in the rod. And you're just getting some good pressure on the fish. Completely exhausting the fish. I'm really hungry at the moment, so that means we can probably get a nice tipsy bonus on this one. If it does appear to be a trophy or near trophy, it'll be worth a lot of XP. Get some tipsy on top of that, maybe. Yeah, I think it's starting to be okay with just coming in here. A fish like this, I'm probably not going to hit right click at all. Until the very end, at least. I'm just going to kind of do this. Get the line loosened a little bit to get it moving my direction. And then just turn and face it. If it keeps coming, just keep doing this a little bit. And then kind of reset. It's not fighting a lot anymore, but it is a pretty heavy fish, I think. Unless something's getting pretty worn out on this line and reel, this should be a nice fish. I really didn't anticipate this was going to take this long just to get the fish in, but it's a bit of an odd video I'm making here because hopefully we're going to catch a really nice fish, but this is not really what this spot is about. Although now that we know that this fish is here, it's possible that we could change the way we're approaching the spot and maybe try to target this size leather. The leather carp, I mean, I've caught enough in this spot to say they do seem to be active on the squid. But because that's the only carp species that's been biting, at least up until this point, I can't say that it's a leather carp farm spot. at least not with the current approach I'm using. I'm using classic pop-up on my first two rods with two different types of single squid corn and squid and fish dip. And I'm using snowman rig on the third rig with some squid pellets and squid corn together. And all three have been catching barbel at a reasonable rate. Again, not a farm spot, but a chance to catch a few barbel and possibly get lucky on the trophy, although the closest I've gotten here so far has been like 7 point something on the barbel. I really want to know what's on that other rod that was pulling a little bit at first, but hopefully it'll still be there when we get this fish in. And it's not pulling anymore, so I don't think it is. I don't know if that was this rod or that one, but maybe it's still pulling a little bit. I don't know. Look how long. It's getting a little bit of a fight left. Look how long we've been getting him closer, and he's still a long way out. But when you have 350, actually on this I'd have, I think, right at 300 meters of line on the reel. Yeah. Wait, nope. This is a 450 length. We've got 441 meters of line. So yeah, mono might have been a problem. Forgot we were using this big devil braid now. But this is an exciting fish to catch on reset day. Oh yeah, that other line is still pulling. So we're accruing a little bit of damage here on both this rod and reel and the other one. That's just the way it goes sometimes. So it's the first line that's pulling. I had just assumed it was the third from when it was going earlier. I might not have looked closely enough, but I thought the third line was actually the one doing that. Alright, so what are we at here? We can go up to 29, as long as I don't accidentally lock it. You know, we probably could lock it. I don't think it's fighting enough to pop it at this point, but I don't like locking it on carp. It's just not necessary with my gear, and one weird flick of the mouse or something and you can just totally mess it up. So weird that this this fish hooked in when it did. I was literally sitting here like just kind of thinking about this spot and like, okay, is it worth pushing this video out about this barbel spot? I saw someone on VK talking about catching barbel here, so I kind of looked at the weeklies, went through some of my old squid PVA and thought, well, I've got several stacks of it. Let's just go sit on it for a little while, see if I don't get lucky on a barbel trophy. And that hasn't happened, but then this did, whatever this is. All right, it should be getting a little closer now, although when I look out there, it's still a little ways away. Can't get a look at it yet. It would be really strange if it's not a leather. What else have I seen here? One or two frame carp, maybe? I mean, really, leather has been the only consistent carp species that's been coming out in the time that I've been here. And I spent an hour here earlier, got off for a little while, came back, spent happy hour here, the hour after happy hour, which is what I am still in, I think. We're somewhere in the second hour since coming back. And overall, the bite rate has slowed a little bit as I've been here longer. But occasionally decent barbels and stuff are still coming out. So I decided to sit a little longer. And at this point, I guess I'm glad I did. But anybody that fished a lot of amber knows that it's always a balance deciding, do you want to pop from spot to spot and try to keep that like first hour of a spot's, bite rate going? Or do you want to sit on a spot that you know is producing good fish and just wait for your good fish to come out? And, you just kind of have to get a feel for a spot and decide if it's a spot that might be worth doing that. I mean, we're just seeing a little bit of it, but I think the coloration there is probably, it looks like it is consistent with a leather carp, but let's see. Yeah, I think it's going to be a leather. I mean, I can't really tell this far off, but I mean, at this point, I don't think I've caught a single mirror carp here since I've been in any of these like 2.5 to 3 hours I've been fishing here. It's pretty nice size though. And it's upside down, completely tired, but the weight of it is still almost pulling line out. And it's one of those leather cows, I think. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and drink. I mean, the in-game tipsy bonus lasts for a while. What am I gonna drink? Let's just do like, and this is gonna be really nauseating for me. How full are we now? Oh, I just don't know that I can do anymore. That's just all I can do. So whatever tipsy bonus that is, I technically could drink a little more, but I just start to black out and I just can't handle it. This is already going to make me sick looking at the screen. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Alright, right at trophy leather. Wait, I say that. Is that right? Well, let me look that up. Nice 41,000 XP. Oh, I can't even see. Wow. I'm going to throw this back in just in case. I think that just went sideways, or maybe it's just the fact that I can't see anything. Alright, let's get these other fish in. And I'm trying to pull up the trophy list real quick so I can't remember if trophy's 30 or 35. Thought I knew, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm not sure. Is it just me or do those rods look crossed? Trophy list. Wait, is this not loaded? Oh, shoot. It's not pulling up. Oh, here we go. All right, let me just get to leather, and then I can look at it while I'm figuring out what we have here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a break from fishing just until my guy gets less drunk. All right, leather carp is 30. So that was a 35. So that's 5 kilos over, huh? Okay. Very nice. Now, maybe this will be a water body barbel, but it won't because it also hooked in during the overnight hours. So I don't. This is probably just a mid-sized leather or something like that. And then I will finally show you the setups we're using. I'll show you our fish net, and then we'll wrap it up. I mean, this is brutal. Just about can't look at the screen. There's a weekly record leather carp. what's amazing about that leather is that they can get so much bigger than that. They really can. I think it's 45 until you get to blue tag, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe this middle line will actually be a barbel, which was the whole point of this video, is to show you that somewhat reliable barbel were coming out of here. We'll see what kind of fish this is. I haven't seen a single common in this spot on these baits, so yeah, it's just going to be another leather, isn't it? This one more like maybe 18 kilos or something. I am getting nauseated. Yeah. 13.3. My goodness. Okay. So we're using craft bait squid with squid and fish mix. It's one of the older squid PVAs. Most of the ones I've been using in this spot, again, just finishing stacks of PVA. Most of them have had the cornflower base and then just other squid ingredients. This one's got a little more of a tuna focus with squid. And technically this is what I caught that, trophy leather on, but as you know, that's as much random RNG as it is like, oh, you finally used the right PVA. I think all of the PVAs I've been using have been working to attract the fish in this spot. That's just when that leather happened to come in. This appears to be another carp. So much for a barbel video, huh? And other than the leathers, like I said, I think this is a frame. Occasionally a frame will come out, but that is not super often. I don't even think I'm casting the right way anymore. All right, here's the third setup. I'll pull this fish in, but you can kind of see what the baits are. This is the snowman rig I was telling you about. Same PVA, same dip. We are at 35 clip. I don't know that I've said that yet. 64, 94, 35 clip. This is one of the most famous spots at Amber, mostly because when Amber first came out, this was one of the first spots that as a community we discovered that was just really good, reliable fishing. And so it became a staple of the Amber map to check 64, 94. Different clips work, but yeah, we've been using 35 clip, mostly kind of casting out towards that log that's over on the other bank, which is kind of like that. And I am going to throw up soon. So, tube ream. This is what we're really here for. 14 common barbel, and by weight we got to 7.4. Just haven't gotten lucky on the trophy yet. Couple crucians, 4 frame-sided, 3 gibbles, and a reasonable amount of leathers with that trophy. What did we just do? Catch 3 in a row, though, so that makes it look like there's more leathers than there really is, I think. But and like I said, this is not a farm spot. This is not a spot of like, oh, it's a great silver per hour or anything like that. But fish are biting here, and I think for some people, just a spot you can go fish and catch some fish and maybe obviously have a small chance at a trophy perhaps. It's pretty nice on reset day. So, and yet another leather. They are just really heating up right now. I'm not sure what the difference is other than PVA, like I said, but there are so many leathers coming out right now. I'm not going to ride the 4x4 in this state. In fact, I don't think I can even look at the game anymore. Okay, 64, 94, 35 clip using squid stuff Did I ever show you the third setup more closely? Squid and herbs pellet 16 with yellow squid. So my thought was that the snowman rig here, having two baits versus the single squid, that maybe it would be, you know, a little bit more interesting fish. It might be a little slower, but maybe it would catch a little bit larger. It really hasn't been the case. They've all been about equally as good, I would say. But I like using the snowman rig when I can, and this seems like a decent time to do it. Okay, as always, thanks for watching. Tight lines, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the discovery of Reset Day, and I will see you next time.